I would like to call the Haymarket Town Council public hearing and organizational meeting to order for Monday, January 13th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Vianney.
Here.
Passanello. Larson.
Here.
Hager.
Here.
Ramirez.
Here.
Gallagher.
Here.
Baker.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We will now have the invocation given by Pastor Brian Johnson from Haymarket Church.
Hi, all. I invite you into a spirit of reflection. May this be a place of listening. May this be a body of respect and mutual positive regard. May this be a time when we seek the common good and look out for those who are left out. May this be a community in which all are welcomed and the needs of others are heard and honored. May this be, and may we be, a people who care for each other. We seek and we hope that this would be a place, that we would be a community, that this would be a town in which love and work for good and care for each other might thrive. In the name of justice, in the name of hope, in the name of the one who stands at the foundation of the universe, we lift these hopes and these prayers in a new year. Amen.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is our community spotlight. Tonight, we welcome Sarah Ford from Willing Warriors.
Thank you very much, Mayor, Town Council. Thank you all for having us here tonight. I am Sarah Ford, Executive Director with Willing Warriors, and I have with me our very own hometown hero, Chef Larry Ziliox. He runs our Visiting Chef program. Might I add that he is the longest serving Fox 5 hometown hero here in Haymarket because he was named hometown hero right before COVID, and then they didn't do the hometown hero program. So he has the honor of being DC's longest hometown hero right here in Haymarket. But I want to come and kind of give you a little update about the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run. You know, living here in Haymarket, I know what a gem and what a beautiful community we have. And it's an honor to be able to share this community and share the love and support of our community with our warrior families. At the Warrior Retreat, we host our nation's wounded, ill, and injured service members and their families. They come out for 5-night cost-free respite stays at the Warrior Retreat. They come from our nation's military hospitals, Walter Reed, Fort Belvoir, military installations around the region. We've hosted warriors from Fort Drum, Fort Bragg, from all over. And they come here and, you know, they're able to take a knee. They're able to take a break. They're able to just have true healing time with their families, to be under one roof with their family. We have 37 acres right at the foothill of the Bull Run Mountains. And it's just a gorgeous place to have that serenity and time to rebuild those family bonds. So our warriors know that their families are not better off without them. We pride ourselves in making a dent in that veteran suicide rate. As we had one veteran tell us that each day our doors are open, the veteran suicide rate is reduced by 1 because they're there with their families, getting the support and getting services that they need. And we're honored to do that. Last time I was here, I was speaking about opening a Grand Lodge. We have opened the Grand Lodge, so now we have a third home, a third structure on the grounds at the Warrior Retreat. Would welcome you all to come and see the Grand Lodge. It's truly a testimony of what this community has done, raising the funds to build this facility. It has a large 2,000 square foot indoor meeting space and a large 2,000 square foot plus outdoor meeting space to host our warrior groups. We've expanded our group offerings. We've been hosting warriors with PTS, post-traumatic stress, military sexual assault survivors, veterans looking for entrepreneurship opportunities, transitioning service members going from active duty to civilian life, helping to getting some coaching, some financial training, and different programs that they need. And now we're expanding into moral injury, which moral injury is where you've either witnessed something or had to do something that maybe violates your own moral code, your ethics. And we bring those warriors out to the retreat and give them renewed hope, renewed resiliency to carry on. And it's a program that we are very, very proud of. And with a grant from a local, healthcare provider here, UVA, we're expanding that program to our first responders, law enforcement officers, fire, frontline healthcare workers. So that's something new that we're expanding with that Grand Lodge. And so we're excited to do that. And Larry has some brochures here. Another program that we have is Operation Save the Number. And HOPE is spelled 988+1. And that's a national veteran suicide line. And we are supporting that. And Chef Larry is leading this program. And it's a national program, but it's something that we're doing right here in Haymarket to, again, provide a service to our warrior families. And we know that we can't do it without you. And we appreciate all of your support. When our warrior families come, they all say that they feel the love and support of this community. If they go to a grocery store here in town, especially if they're walking with this gentleman right here, we give the warrior families some gift cards to help try to, offset some of the staple items that they purchase. 9 times out of 10, their grocery bill is going to be taken care of when they come into Haymarket. So, this town, the businesses in this town provide services, massage therapy, and all kinds of other services for our warrior families. And it's just, like I said, truly a reflection of the love and support of this community. And I can't say it enough. We are just proud to be a part of Haymarket and proud to be here and proud to keep serving our warriors. So thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions about the
Just gonna say,
warrior
anybody
retreat?
has any questions? No?
We would love for you all to come. Like I said, we've opened the Grand Lodge. We would welcome you all to come out as a group or individually, however it's best. I know schedules are tough, but we really want you to see what we have out there, for our warriors. Like I said, they come from all over the country, but they're coming here. They're coming to Haymarket, and they see something special. We've had several families, they all want to live here. And it's not an exaggeration. Chef Larry can attest to that. They want to move to this community because they know what we have is very special here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So because we had to reschedule our meeting to tonight, we need to take the public hearing off of the agenda and re-advertise in order to give proper notification to the public. And we will also need to pull the resolution 2025-001 budget amendment of the agenda. Okay, thank you. So this takes us into citizens' time. Is there anyone who is wishing to speak? Any emails? All right, thank you. All right, we will now move to the organizational section of the meeting. The first item is to appoint a vice mayor, please, as the outgoing mayor.
Mayor, I would like to nominate Councilmember Matt Gallagher for vice mayor.
I second.
Wonderful. With a motion and a second, do we need to take a roll call vote?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations? No?
You need to take not a roll call vote, but a motion to close the nominations.
Okay. Is that on me
I
or
vote.
on?
So
A council member.
Yep.
Okay, thank
Makes
you.
a motion to close the nominations.
I'll let Justin take that.
a motion to close the nomination,
Yes.
All right.
And then you
For
need-
vice mayor. And I,
Second.
okay.
a motion to close nomination for vice mayor.
Second.
Got it?
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Do I have a motion to appoint Matt Gallagher as vice mayor for the period of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2026?
I move.
So second,
Second.
may I have a roll call vote, please?
BNA,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, so we are moving on to the appointment of liaisons. The first is the finance liaison. Are there any nominations for finance liaisons?
I'd like to nominate Councilman Bannon for Finance Liaison.
Okay,
I second.
okay. And do I have another? We have two, right?
2 positions.
2 positions.
Right.
Okay. Do we do them individually? So first, second? Okay. So we have a nomination and a second for councilperson Benny. Did we get a second on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Do we have an additional recommendation?
I'll nominate Councilman Joe Passanello.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of appointing Mr. Passanello, and I never can do it right. Biene. Thank you. Say aye.
I, we need to, point of order, close.
Close nominations.
Got to close nominations. So if there are no other nominations, I move we close the nominations.
Second.
Okay, now we'll go for a vote.
Now move to appoint Councilmember BNA and Councilmember Passanello to the Finance Liaison.
Okay. I nominate to appoint both council members, BNA and Passanello, as finance liaisons.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so nope.
Okay.
We need to appoint a council member as liaison to the Architectural Review Board. Do I have a nomination to appoint?
May I'd like to nominate Councilmember Lorson as the ARB liaison.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Nope. All in favor of appointing council member Larson to
Motion to
oh,
close.
close? Sorry, I'm like,
We'll
I'm
figure
like
this out
doing
by
it.
the
We're
last
doing
one.
it. We're doing it. We're
At the
doing
end,
it.
we'll get it.
Nominations.
I move to close the nominations for.
Second.
Thank you.
We're just gonna.
Now all in favor.
Motion to appoint.
Thank you.
I move to appoint Councilmember Lorson as the ARB liaison.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, here we go. We need to appoint a business liaison. Do I have a nomination to appoint?
I'd like to nominate Councilmember Gallagher.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Right. Are there any other nominations? A motion to close?
I move to close the nomination for
Business
business liaison.
I second.
All in favor of appointing Councilmember Gallagher as the business liaison, say aye.
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 Thank you. I'm like, we've got this. Here we go. We need to appoint a liaison to the Planning Commission. Councilmember Biani has been the liaison. Is there any nomination to reappoint Councilmember Biani as the liaison to the Planning Commission?
You good? You good with that?
Is that too much?
I haven't asked you about that.
Finance and, I think it's
How
be
about,
too
how
much.
about Justin?
Yeah.
Too much?
Justin?
I nominate Justin.
Do you accept the
Do you
nomination?
accept the nomination?
I accept the
Okay, I second.
Are we closing nominations?
I move to close nominations.
All right.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then we need to appoint the community outreach liaison.
We got to appoint
Wait, we got a
Justin.
second, sorry. Thank you.
I motion to appoint Justin as the planning commission liaison.
My second.
Got a second?
Mary, you second.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm like going down the list.
We really should have had like a
Nomination to
Yeah.
the community.
Liaison.
Community outreach liaison.
Yes. So Councilmember Ramirez has been the liaison. Do I have a motion to nominate Councilmember Ramirez as the community outreach liaison?
So moved.
All right, so there is
I
a second.
Seconded.
Close. Are there any other nominations? And motion to close?
I make a motion to close the nominations for community liaison.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to appoint.
Like to make a motion to appoint Councilwoman Ramirez as the community liaison for the town of Haymarket.
Second.
Second.
We're giving it to
Justin.
Justin.
Mhm.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Here we go.
All right, awesome. Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to review the policies and procedures. I want us to take time to review this so that we can have a discussion at our January work session if we would like to make any changes. So is there any discussion, questions?
Yeah, I don't know if I have the latest. If you could email me the latest policy so that I can review it.
Okay.
Are there, I'm sorry, just to clarify to your question or request, is what's in the agenda packet not the most up to date?
Is that, okay, yeah, since I got this kind of late. If it's in here, I'm good.
I did have a question. On packet page 16, section 6-7 procedural motions, down under 5A, discussing lay on the table. Can we have some clarification if there is a time limit on tabling the item by laying on the table? If we could have that ready at the work session.
Okay.
And I believe those were my only questions. Thank
Alright.
you.
I'm just going to go around just to make certain. Justin, did you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Matt?
Nope, nothing for me.
All right. Mary, that was your only one? Okay. Ken?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Okay. Joe's not here.
I'm good,
Uh,
thanks.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. So we'll get clarification on a time limit for section 6-7, 5A. Thank you. All right. So with that, we can move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull anything off of the consent agenda?
Town administration report, please.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to adopt everything outside of the town admin report?
Sure. I'm gonna do my best Joe right now. I'd like to make a motion for us to approve consent agenda items A, 1 and 2, B, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Right. So in pulling, yep, in pulling the town admin report, questions?
Yes, I just wanted to ask about where we are with the sidewalk, with the park sidewalk. What's next?
So we have officially signed off on the change order for the millwork to include the additional work that we're going to do. Obviously, with the temperatures currently right now, that's placed on hold whenever they do get the perfect weather to do so. That's moving forward. We are still the contractor is still waiting on the poles, the light poles. But once the paving is done, the next thing will be the new crosswalk section will be worked on as well.
Did they give you any time indication in terms? of timeline?
Honestly, right now, Councilman Bayana, it's all dependent on the weather, unfortunately. We were hoping to get this all squared away back in December, mid-December, but once we had a meeting with VDOT, our town engineer, town planner, myself, and the VDOT and contractors, the additional work seemed to be the better option, and just getting that price quote to come back to us took longer. And obviously with the snowstorm that has happened recently this past week or so, they're just now waiting on the paving. The contractors are waiting for the right temperatures to start the work, but they have been signed off and agreed on to go ahead do the change order for the additional work.
All right, okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
I guess while we're at it, demolition of the park building and movement forward in concepts and designs of a new building.
So I'll tackle the first ones first. So the demo, we had our first pre-con meeting, the town engineer, Thomas and myself and the contractor here last Friday. They came in. We have now moved on to the permitting phase. The town had to make sure that some of the utilities there were shut off before they can get the permit issued. I believe Thomas this morning sent the letter out confirming it to the county. The intent is to have, once the contractor gets that permit, we'll have another progress meeting, and that's when we'll start laying out the schedule of the next steps. As far as the RFP for the new development, the new portion of the new phase, we still need to have a work session on that discussion. I do not want to spend funds getting our legal team to work up an RFP without really knowing what the council envisions as that next phase. I know discussion of the pavilion and restrooms are two of the main things that I think we can all agree on, but as far as what the expectation is on these RFP designs, is one of the reasons why we're holding off on the RFP now that we have a new council on board, to have a work session dedicated to work those concepts up before we get legal to start working on that.
Yep. Just don't want to lose sight of it with new council and a hiatus of the town manager for another 2 months, month and a half, right? End of February? 2 weeks.
Just a couple weeks.
I think our weeklies too. I got two councilmen, two attorneys that also want to remind me about stuff like that. So it's on the table. No one's forgotten about it. But first, we just need to get this demo started and completed. So.
Yeah, I hope you're keeping Rooted in Haymarket folks engaged so that they understand the schedule and can communicate their impacts, what impacts them on this.
The goal is to, once we have a clear schedule or a better idea from the contractor, to yes, reach out, give them the same information to them, as well as make the community aware. I know one of the biggest things is that you will see the fencing coming up, one of the first things to come up there at that property. But yes, we will definitely be sharing that information as well as to the community on what to see next.
But to circle back, we're needing a work session to discuss the RFP.
Yes, and that is something that I could definitely start reaching and putting feelers out there as to what dates. It could be in the February work session, or it could be I think the January one. We don't have anything on the scope, but just remember too, pretty soon too, those work sessions will include the new proposed budget. So it'll start getting pretty stacked, but that's okay on my end. I'm sure the town manager is okay with her too. So we can get this next phase done.
So
Is the next phase engaging an architect or a designer? Is that, I'm just trying to have an understanding.
So the last we spoke, I think, if I recall, I think council was debating about doing a design build versus a two-step versus that one step with design build, or doing it by designing it, getting a design firm to design it, and then looking for contractors to do it. I think that is still part of the discussions and decisions that need to be made up in council, because that would definitely change how the RFP is written. So that is part of the discussion that we do need to discuss.
Thank you. So if I'm making sure I heard correct, you offered up the work session in January or the work session in February to put this on the agenda. Is that correct?
Yes,
what you
either
offered
one
up?
that works best for council. I know that we still don't have our council member Pesanello won't be back until actually the end of, I don't know if he will be able to make the January work session. So if, so I believe that maybe a February work session would be best, because we should have all the full council in attendance.
Okay.
So that would be February 24th? Okay.
Correct.
I would love to get that on like the books if we could, like put a date to
Certainly.
it, if that's possible. Thank you.
It would be nice to have everybody present to put in their thoughts and what the community is looking for. So the 24th. Sounds good. Anything additional? No? All right. So we need a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve, close and approve the town administration report as part of the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No one opposed? All right, the motion is carried. We will move on to our agenda items. Our first agenda item is to fill the vacancy on the Planning Commission by appointment. We have an application. Can you provide additional information, please?
Yes, Mr. David Capicella is a resident of Greenwood Crossing. He has expressed his interest in serving in the Planning Commission. He's also expressed the interest of being the liaison to the Architectural Review Board. Mr. Capicella is here this evening if you want to ask him any questions before you make your appointment.
Does anybody have any questions?
I always have questions for Dave, but I'll let it go.
Anyone else?
So
I was gonna say we would
gentleman
love,
sitting right behind Sarah Ford. that
Yeah.
is- that is-
Please stand up and introduce yourself.
Dave Capicella. I've been in the area since 1997 and moved into town in 2013. Always wanted to be in the town, and the guy who wants to ask me a bunch of questions talked me into moving. But I like the small town atmosphere. I like the walkability of things, and it's something I wanted for myself and my family. So
wonderful, thank you.
feel free to ask.
Thank you. Thank you for submitting your application. All right,
So his term would start at this evening once you appoint him, and would expire June of 30th of 2028. And there is I have a memo up on the dais for you. There is a draft motion on page 2. to appoint Mr. Capicella.
Would you like others?
I didn't even see it here.
oh, here, you got it.
You guys can, yeah. Oh, I got it. Okay, I move that the Haymarket Town Council appoint David Capicella to the Haymarket Planning Commission, filling the unexpired term of Justin Baker, beginning January 13th, 2025, and expiring June 30th, 2028.
Second.
One person, a second. Is it an all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So it is moved. All right, so our next item is the appointment of the Board of Zoning Appeals vacancy. Can you provide us with an update, please?
Mr. Jerome Baker is a planning commission member, and has expressed an interest in serving the vacancy of the Board of Zoning Appeals. He will also fill in the vacancy from Councilman Baker's seat. His term would actually start a full term, so we would start him on February the 1st. And it's a 5-year term, so it would expire January 31st of 2030. And this is a board that you nominate to appoint him to as, and our town attorney will send the order to the circuit court. Mr. Baker's or Mr. Gonzalez would be appointed by the judge of the circuit court.
So it's like a recommendation.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
May I ask a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we appoint Mr. Gonzalez to the BZA, would it be in conflict with him being on the planning commission?
No.
Okay.
There has been, Mr. Baker was on the planning commission and also served on the BZA.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a nomination?
I move that the town, Haymarket Town Council nominate Jerome Gonzalez to the Haymarket Board of Zoning Appeals with the term beginning February 1st, 2025 and expiring January 31st, 2030.
Second.
You have your second?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, so next we have our consideration of SUP 2024-001, the Chick-fil-A drive-through expansion. Thomas, will you give us an update,
Yes,
please?
I'll go ahead and read again into the record what I read during the work session. During consideration of agenda item for SCP number 2024-001 at the December 2nd monthly town council meeting, there was discussion with the applicant to continue and defer the application to January 6, 2025. The applicant was in agreement with that extension. However, due to the inclement weather we experienced, the meeting had to be rescheduled. We spoke with the applicant via email January 3rd, 2025 on the potential to move the meeting to the 13th of January. The applicant did not have any issues or concerns with the rescheduling of the work session in the meeting. Town staff kept the applicant informed of the rescheduling date. And with that said, we were now able to continue the discussion of the application with the applicant present in this meeting. So I'll go briefly over again some of what we discussed with the work session, a couple of updates to the staff report, and my final recommendation as presented. And then we can turn the time over to the applicant for any further discussion with the council members. As I discussed with council in separate meetings, one-on-one meetings, I wanted to ensure that all factors were considered when it came to the application. That came along with emergency vehicle turning or access on the site, loading and unloading, both on the Chick-fil-A site and the bank site, and just a general discussion about traffic patterns on site, even though a traffic study was not required for this particular application. I'll first go over the fire marshal comments. As discussed, we submitted the 3 exhibits that were presented to us to the fire marshal for consideration to see what their thoughts were on the emergency vehicle turns. Their recommendations were exhibit 2, 1, and then 3. Exhibit 3 being with 45-degree parking, exhibit 2 being perpendicular parking, both exhibit 3 and exhibit 2 having hardscape curbs, and exhibit 1 having the plastic delineators and cycling curb installation. With that in mind as well, I have some concerns about loading of the bank when it comes to money exchange from the truck parked at the front to the front door to ensure that that's maintained at a secure distance. If there's any parking reduced, that may cause conflict point there. Additionally, for the last preliminary site plan, we've been reviewing current trip generation via ITE for the area of Crossroads or the fairgrounds, and also this particular Coral site is about 915 daily trips with AM peaks of 59 to 57 depending, and PM peaks of 57 depending on the site. Other sites have AM peaks at 137, PM peaks at 139. With all this considered, I go back to my final comments on the staff report, where in initial discussion with the applicant, a waiver would need to be granted to take away from the 5-foot landscaping buffer requirement between the two lots. With that, as I said in the staff report, I stand by that requirement. If it's not waived, then we are approving something that would be in violation of the zoning ordinance. Zoning administrator has also affirmed my comments on that as well. The entire project essentially would then hinge, as presented, would hinge on that particular waiver not being granted, and would be at a conflict point between council and town staff for that. With some of the other items considered, and with, as I've written up in my staff report, currently as presented, I would recommend denial of the application. I'd like to invite the applicant up to come up, and any other questions the council has for the applicant, we can field them now.
Good evening. Again, I do want to start by saying that we've discussed since the work session, and the applicant acknowledges that the town doesn't want to necessarily approve a waiver for the landscape. And so based on the width of 5 feet, we think there may be options to accommodate that. So we would request that council consider another deferral of this application so that we can put in some additional work exploring with the town an option that may not require a waiver.
I will start at the end and go around. Justin, do you have any comments, questions?
No, I'm okay. No.
Okay, Matt?
No, I think if there's an option for that, I think it's prudent to delay. My opinion.
I just want to say I appreciate you hearing our concerns and wanting to act on that. I think that speaks volumes to your eagerness to meet us and meet the demands of our community and our needs. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing your new submission.
Yeah, I'm up for any proposal you want to give, but I do have a lot of concerns with the space here. I mean, we're dealing with such a tight space. When we add that, it's like squeezing a balloon, right? You squeeze down one area, it's got to pop up somewhere else. And so it'll be interesting to see what you can come up with. But my concerns are, I have a Tacoma truck. It's one of the small ones. It's not a Tundra, but it does have an extended cab. And I'll tell you what, it's tight right now to get through the parking lots with that truck. So I'd like to see what you can come up with, but I have a lot of concerns about what space we're going to end up losing to keep the ordinance in line with buffer space and green space.
Yeah, acknowledged.
Yes, I'm also open to considering alternatives, right? But at the end of the day, I still have some concerns about what's being proposed, right? Which I've shared many times on the planning commission as well as in our previous meeting and this meeting, right? But I'm open to that as well.
Understood.
Thanks.
The one thing I'm not sure that was really discussed much that I do just want to point out before is that I think we've made iterations after iterations. And I do want to acknowledge that the reason we did adjust Exhibit 3 as opposed to 1 or 2 based on the fire marshal is because it seemed from correspondence that the fire marshal's concern was just whether or not the truck could maneuver with the curbed islands, but the angle, based on lots of discussions with commission, council, and staff, is more desirable. And so that's why we made adjustments to Exhibit 3 to show that the safety movement of the fire truck is manageable with the angled parking with a couple adjustments to the curb alignment. So it wasn't just to ignore their request.
Thank you. Go ahead.
To that end, and I guess a comment, when I looked at that, and as I told my colleague, I did forget my reading glasses, so I could be off.
No problem.
But it still looks like it would be hitting the curb. So that is a concern still.
Yeah. It's not the wheel, it's not the tire, it's just the overhang above the tire. So yeah, there is a chance a fire truck could hit a shrub in the landscaped island, but it isn't the curb. It isn't the tire going over the curb.
And Thomas, I know this is a new, I'll call it 3A, I guess.
Yeah.
Has the fire marshal taken a look at that yet?
I still need to send it over to the fire marshal as well. Additionally, if there's adjustments that can be made to all exhibits as well, I can submit all of them to the fire marshal for consideration.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mayor, I'm curious to know if the applicant's looking for a date certain for continuance, or they're looking for just a TBD date at this point.
So are you looking for a date of continuance?
March, is that feasible?
March work session or March? So, sorry, I'm pulling up my calendar.
Yeah.
So March 3rd or March 24th? The 24th is a work session. The 3rd would be our regular session.
Yeah, the 24th for a work session.
Okay.
Would be fine.
And then that would take us the 24th to discussion, and then April 7th would be the additional meeting.
Okay.
Would be
Yes.
decision.
Would be decision. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, then in moving on this, do I just need to give direction as to the continuance? All right,
Without objection.
so are we all in agreement to the work session on the 24th, decision on the 7th of April?
Yes, just quick, it might be user error. I want to confirm with the clerk, the work session is the 24th, not the 31st.
Oh, thank you. The 24th is, the 31st is the last Monday of the month.
Right, so the 30th.
The 31st and then the 7th. Thank you.
Whew,
I appreciate that.
No worries.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so 31st of March for work session, vote on the 7th of April. Is everyone in agreement?
No objections.
Okay,
No objection.
perfect. Thank you. All right, so the last item on the agenda is the discussion on the 2 to 5 year budget forecast. Roberto. Thank you.
All right, council. So in the strategic planning held on October 26, I believe, of 2024, the conversation during that strategic planning, a question was brought up about what it would take for the town to create a report, basically a 2 to 5 year revenue expenditure forecasting report. Due to the consultant at the time, Ms. Dr. Stephanie Davis, she had instructed or guided us to basically look at our financial advisors for this type of report that would assist with future planning with town funds and financials. In doing so, I did reach out to VML Vaco, who are the same company that did our benchmarking report. And in talking with them, it just made the most sense to stick with them, as they have kind of already done the first portion, which that bench report showed how much the town could use fund-wise, cash-wise, how it would use its funds and assets when it comes to the next big loan or project. This would just be the second phase of then showing how to maintain that once you execute it or create this next debt obligation, how we would be able to forecast paying it in the future. This forecasting would be dependent of our CIP. In talking to the finance liaisons on this report, I think they both seem to be on board with it. I believe Councilman Pasanello did share with me before he had left on his monthly vacation that he is all for it, but to make sure to reiterate to council that per the agreement, anything outside of the scope of this 2 to 5 year will be costly. There's a rate on there for the hourly rate for any additional work. In my opinion, I would recommend council that this is a good thing for us because it would also be very transparent to the constituents and to everyone as to how the town plans to spend its money, not just now, but in the next 5 years. It also would assist when it comes to budgeting. Conversation always talks about the taxes, how that could affect, potential projects or priorities when it comes to the CIP. The cost for this, though, is costly. Obviously, this is a report that they're going to be working on, comparing the neighboring jurisdictions, seeing where we're at as well, considering, the forecasting of that. The cost would be 14,500. The deliverables, are all part of the memorandum. I was, yes, sorry about that. I would, 14,500 will be the cost. In talking to the finance liaisons, they are both, again, agreeable to it. I think it'll be a great tool overall for the town council when it comes to budgeting and also making key decisions to how the monies are going to be used for future planning. Don't know if any specific questions on this.
Thank you. So in the summer, we had some financial advisors come in and speak to us. Can you, for record for the public to understand the difference between what we had happen and what you're proposing council do now?
Yeah. So the benchmark report, essentially, to try to simplify it, is basically showing this is how much the town can afford to use, to spend on. It takes in all the unrestricted funds and kind of gives you an idea of where we stand overall state-wise compared to other jurisdictions, our debt obligation versus our revenues. So it kind of gives us an idea up to how much we could use cash, how we can do scenarios of like doing a loan, use some cash in hand, just kind of like show you options on how you spend it. The forecasting, what it does, it then tells if you choose one of these options per your benchmark report, how to maintain that obligation, how to be able to keep it, how to be able to maintain, how to address it. Also, it kind of will show and be transparent to residents as to right now. I think sometimes when we have these discussions in budget, one of the biggest things is like, oh, we're spending money here, 200,000 on this, but when will we get to the next part? For the example, the demo of the park house. One of the biggest discussions I remember is how long is it going to take for the next phase to happen? This, because it's following our CIP that is approved by council, will kind of guide it and kind of show you that, yes, we plan on spending the money here, year 1, year 2, somewhat, year 3 is when we fully execute it. It kind of gives you that blueprint of what we're trying to do and accomplish over the next 5 years.
Thank you. I appreciate you delineating the differences. I'm just going to reiterate in what I've heard is over the summer, the benchmark is kind of like the temperature of our water, our financial status. And then this forecasting that you're proposing is how we plan to use those funds that we've just assessed and for the next 5 years, and incrementally ensuring that we're following through with that and that will support our CIP and strategic plan.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have anything?
The only thing is, as we discussed, that, prior to making a decision, right, to invest 14,500, I'd like to think that they've previously done similar analysis, similar work, right? I think it would be a good thing for us to have them provide us the work product that they had produced and delivered to, another jurisdiction, what have you, and let us review it and see what to expect before committing to, spend. I mean, I like what you're proposing, right? But I would like to know a little bit more about what to expect.
Sure. I can ask. I know we briefly talked about this. I could definitely ask for it. I don't know if waiting on that, though, do you want to hold on the decision, though, on approving them to go forward with this? Will we bring it back up on a work session or the next meeting?
And again, what I would like to do is have them provide it to us. Let's review it and let's make a decision during our next work session or regular monthly meeting.
Okay.
If that's again, my preference, but,
Okay, because I know that it was a request specifically of yours in which you wanted to see what this looked like. So you want to have examples of what we will get for the worth of the 14.5 is what you're asking.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And then can you please also expand on how this might marry with our strategic planning and how this could actually support what we're trying to leverage with our strategic planning?
So the strategic planning basically encompasses, was how the CIP was created and addresses that. So this forecasting will take into account that CIP. Everything that they're looking to forecast is to address everything in the CIP. So it's kind of in a way a supporting document as to how we plan to execute and maintain the strategic planning or CIP.
Okay. So 2 plans. Go ahead.
I mean, at this point, yes, we have our strategic plan, we have our CIP, what we would like to invest in, and so forth, right? But we don't have dollar amount, right? But I'm assuming this analysis, the study, will allow us to know how much we can comfortably, right, spend towards make investments. I'm assuming that based on what we currently have, based on forecasting ahead, right? Based on expected revenue, expense, and so forth. That's what I'm assuming.
No, so the benchmark report shows, if you remember, kind of showed, and I'm going to throw a number, it kind of showed you like if you were to use 600,000 in cash, go into a loan for a remainder 1.2 million, you can do that. This is where we stand. And we were still under the threshold when it came to the state average. What this report would do, because I guess what I find that sometimes this council gets kind of stuck on is that we can execute it, but it's kind of like the unsureness of going forward the next 5 years. This is kind of to reassure what the town is capable of handling, type of balances that is able to handle without having to increase taxes, having to, cut other expenditures. It's addressing what the CIP states. Now, could this report come back and we look back at it and say, instead of the number one priority being the town center be a parking structure, what you guys have been talking about? Yeah, I mean, it could make it that the town council would want to reprioritize. We have that discussion, but as far as this report isn't going to show you what the town can spend on, or that's already been done. It's kind of giving you the numbers already. Now it's just kind of showing you how to sustain it. But the question always, and the simplest thing to say is we always have the discussion over tax rate, the real estate tax rate. This will kind of forecast, will kind of show you how that could affect it. It would take in consideration, and I'm not a financial analyst, but they would definitely take in consideration potentials of what can happen if meal taxes, how they fall. They will have their own ratios that they would do, comparing it to all the local neighboring municipalities. And that's what they will be able to show us, kind of give us an idea.
We're just basically forecasting, right?
Exactly,
They'll forecast out
exactly.
based on historical, right, revenues, what have you, and then
Right.
look into the future.
Right. So, yeah, as far as like how much it would spend, I think the benchmark report has kind of already shown what we can do. This is more online to like, now this is how you maintain it without, changing reduction or increasing taxes.
Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, the benchmark was based on what we currently have on hand in terms of cash, right? But also was a combination of cash and loan, right? I don't believe it was looking into the future and taking into consideration future revenues and so forth, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And so that's, yeah, it's what's cash on hand. Yeah, correct.
Mary?
Thank you. I was just hoping to get some clarification as to what you were hoping to do, just because I think it would be different or maybe a quicker turnaround if we only ask for scope of work, right? Where we have the deliverables explicitly stated, almost like a checklist, and to kind of review that and make sure that that covers all the things that we hope to gain from this. Or are you looking for like a portfolio where they're showing examples of their work?
What I'm thinking is by having them provide us a similar work product that they had put together and delivered to another jurisdiction, right? Would allow us to review it and then potentially allow us to make updates or changes, right? Additional things that we can ask them in terms of analysis and so forth. That's what I'm thinking, right?
Okay, so
As
like a
opposed to-
portfolio, like work they've done
Yeah.
and present to us.
Well, a deliverable that they had put together for another town or what have you in the past, right? A similar, I'm assuming, hopefully they have done similar work in the past, right? That's what I'm thinking, right? And
Okay.
again, it'll allow us to review it and see what type of analysis that they performed, what they had provided, and then maybe also we can make updates to it or changes or propose additional analysis or studies.
So when does our budget discussion begin? When are you planning to bring the budget discussion to the table?
Hopefully, I'll present in the agenda of the first meeting March,
In March.
but have the work session in the March work session.
Okay, so March work session, we will be discussing basically what this forecasting is hopefully capturing.
Right.
Do you believe that we can get an example of their work and have time to review it and provide feedback to meet that March work session? Do you
I'm
think
not
that's
sure
feasible?
because when I officially, when we had this conversation firsthand, the intent was to have it reviewed with finance and kind of like see where they were at on it. Seeing Joe's seen some of this work before, get his opinion on it. Also, to get it to them by January, by this month. I guess the only thing too is just I'm unsure what exactly. I mean, they're the professionals on this, so I don't know if, I will ask for it. I just don't know the holdback on, they know what they're supposed to supply us when I talk to them about it. So for them to come back and us to try to ask for certain ones, I don't know if that warrants holding this report because, the report is a financial forecasting is a forecast. As far as how we want to see it, I think that we can talk about how, we want it to be presented, but I don't know if holding back us looking at it, how knowledgeable we are to see what specifically we're looking for in this report. If they were to give us a template, aside from just looking at it, they still would have to explain it to us. Because those scenarios could probably be different from ours, but I just don't know if, I will ask, I just don't know if holding it another month would help us make the decision when it comes to the budget as well.
So what's the agreement, right? What are we paying for? 14,500. What are we expecting? What does the agreement look like? What are we, are we just saying, hey, here's the money, just give us some sort of a financial analysis? I'm just.
So the deliverables are actually on the memo. So if you were to read it there, that's actually from the agreement.
Roberto, you mentioned that Councilmember Pasanello has seen this work before. Is it something that he is able to share with Councilman Bayene or?
He won't be here until the end of the month. So, I'm going to ask for the scenario. It's just me thinking ahead because of the budget season coming around.
That's why I wanted to ask, because I hear Councilman Bayene wanting to enter this confidently, and that is important, and I don't want to dismiss that, and I acknowledge that. The timeline, however, I don't want to miss this opportunity to go into this budget discussion fully prepared. And as you mentioned, we are not the professionals. I personally am not a forecaster. So I wonder if us discussing a scope of work and seeing maybe if there's a goal we hope to achieve with this information and see how they can meet that goal, what kind of deliverables. I don't know if that's a more constructive use of our time before we start the budget discussion. That's why I kind of wanted to flesh out exactly what Councilmember Bayene was hoping to gather and whether that was feasible within our timeline and where we can meet.
also
Yeah.
clarifying what Councilperson Passanello has been a part of. And then are you wanting to look at it to see if there are things that we can eliminate to lower the cost?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
things we can actually add.
Add, okay,
As opposed to
okay.
eliminate, right?
No, no,
But again,
perfectly.
I don't want
clarifying.
to, stand in the way of making progress or delaying things, right? We can, if if the council members want to move forward and approve this, that it's fine, but maybe another approach is even if we approve it, still reach out to them and have us provide it, right? And they'll let us review it. And if we have recommendation or changes that we would like to make, then hopefully they will be open to those changes. right?
Before the presentation, you mean? I
Before
think
they-
that's a
Before
fair
they start
ask.
their work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's a fair ask. I think that's a fair ask, Councilman.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
So do you need a directive from us? Do we need to vote on something? Like what's the next step for?
If council is on board on it, yes, I would like to get directive, maybe vote on to go forward to sign this agreement because it is for the 14,500. So it's a little bit over the currently the acting town manager approval that I could do. We have a limit of 10,000, so this definitely needs to come through the council's approval.
Is everyone on board with that? And I'm looking specifically to you to make certain.
Yeah.
Okay,
Until we agreed in terms of possible.
No, we
approach,
could
right?
definitely talk about that for sure.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, what I'd like to see is, maybe some verbiage in here saying, we'll go through a phased approach in which, it gets reviewed by the financial liaisons and, that might be more appropriate to put checks and balances in there, right?
So, so how these reports are done usually is that the town manager and myself are always given a draft after all the information. Obviously with the liaisons, we do have those conversations, and any feedback liaisons have, we do give back to the consultants, and they usually are very amenable to it and are willing to work with us. So that is definitely Councilman Bayana being part of the finance now, who would definitely be able to kind of preview those as well.
Because, you can level set off of that. These requests, they can come back saying they're out of scope. It'll take us this many hours to do it at, 195 an hour. So we could at least understand what the impacts will be, right?
Yeah, I mean, and here it says VML Finance will meet with the town staff, hopefully with the finance community as well, prior to presenting the plan to the finance to the town council to solicit their feedback. Adjustments to the presentation will be made as appropriate. So they're open to discussion and, if warranted, making necessary updates. But
So the verbiage is there pretty much then. I'm happy.
Everybody else, Justin?
Yeah, so, sorry, when they're doing this report, it's not like a one-time report. They're continuous, if we need to make revisions or something like that. It's not like just one report and, hey, we collected 45, 14.5 from you, go on your way. It's kind of like they'll keep working with us and keep plugging in the numbers, and kind of, they're still at our side if we need assistance.
Yeah, so it is a one-time report, but could it be edited or adjusted if for foreseeable future if revenues or pop up that we don't have or yeah, I'm sure that's a conversation I can have with them. I'm sure once they create the template, it'll be a lot easier to work within those scopes to modify things. But currently, right now, this has never been done by the town, so it's creating a brand new template for the town because they've never done one that at least that I'm aware of. This is the first time we've requested them to do a analysis this way.
Yeah, so we can meaning we can continue using them.
Right.
And just have them in our, I don't know, it's like a year agreement or something, I'm guessing, or?
Yeah, I'm assuming they'd, request something like a retaining fee at the hourly rate that they put in here, just
Yeah.
to secure that for future.
Yeah,
use.
reference.
So are we open to voting to move forward with it? That's where we are? Okay. Do we do roll call?
Motion.
Somebody makes a motion. Thank you.
All right. So, if I may, Mayor,
Yes, please.
I move that the town council give staff the directive, is that what was requested, a directive to move forward with the VML VACO finance forecasting report? Is that clear enough?
Got to limit it with money.
I'm sorry,
So
okay,
not to exceed
and be approved for the
$14,500.
$14,500 as stated in the memo.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. And
Point
we'll
of
do-
information, what do you have on record as a motion?
I have Ms. Ramirez making the motion to approve the VML VACO contract in the amount of $14,500.
Yes, so moved.
And then
Just to clarify.
Just
roll
wanted to
call
clarify
vote.
that.
No, perfect, thank you.
Point of
Roll-
clarification, who's signing the document? Are you signing the document? Okay. You want to give Roberta permission to sign the document also?
Okay, friendly amendment for the town treasurer to sign the document.
So amended.
And second, friendly second.
Friendly second.
And then a roll call vote because it has
Any
to
other
do with money.
discussions before we vote?
I think we're good.
Okay, BNA,
Aye.
Larson,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, so now we are on to our council member time. So we will start with council member Larson.
Oh, great. I'm not really prepared for it. Still trying to get over the holiday season and the vacations. So not much to say. Happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully we can make this a prosperous year and get a lot accomplished as well as staying under budget. That's it.
I love that. I love that. Councilperson Leone.
Just want to say Happy New Year to everyone.
Good. Perfect. Councilmember Passanello is on vacation, so we are going to go to Councilmember Baker.
I'd just like to say Happy New Year to everybody and thank you for having me. And I'm looking forward to working with everyone here. And it's been great so far.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez.
Thank you. Welcome, Councilmember Baker. Welcome to the party. I look forward to working hard for the next 2 years with everybody. Congratulations to everybody on their appointments. And I think we're going to be using our wheelhouses in the right way. I do want to give a kudos to council and staff. This snowstorm has highlighted how underprepared our entire area has been for snow. And our commitment to making sure our town is walkable is proof. Like if you drive through Manassas, if you drive through Gainesville, if you drive through any other place other than the town of Haymarket, you will see that those sidewalks are not shoveled. It is not pedestrian friendly. Children can't even walk to school. So I just really want to commend us for putting money where our mouths are. And we've invested in things that are important, and public safety is the key to that. And we've ensured that. So thank you to our acting town manager for just being on the ball with that and ensuring that our contractors were here. Thank you very much. And I really want to say thank you to council for supporting that effort and ensuring that our main roads, we took ownership of that. So I'm really proud of that, and I hope you are too. I also really want to emphasize that VDOT needs to do better. I'm very concerned with children getting to school safely and parents getting and other citizens getting to work safely and on time. So hopefully this was a lesson learned, and if anybody ever needs support, please reach out to the town. Our town clerk can direct anything to us, or you can email me as well. And also please know that if you're not in the town, but you have issues with VDOT roads, VDOT has a submission on their website that you can fill out, which I'm happy to give out as well. But other than that, Happy New Year. I hope everyone stays healthy and warm. Thank you.
Thank you. That will take us to you, sir.
I will. Just first of all, I want to again congratulate everybody on your appointments to different our different liaisons. It's nice to see everybody having a role. Thanks everybody for your trust in me. I'll be do my best to learn how to be a vice mayor. I'll be looking to you, Madam Mayor, for your assistance there. But I'm looking forward to it. Also want to welcome Mr. Capicella to the Planning Commission. Thank you very much for stepping up. I always enjoy seeing new names of people stepping up and wanting to make our community better. Knowing you, Dave, I know you'll be an incredible asset. It's not just the Planning Commission, but to the town as a whole. So thank you very much. And thank you to Mr. Gonzalez as well for stepping up and filling the BZA role. BZA, speaking from experience, they don't meet a lot, but when they do, it's usually something's going on where you're going to get some daggers thrown at you. So, but yeah, I appreciate anybody who's willing to step up and assist in that way. That's all from me. Happy New Year to everybody, and looking forward to a fantastic year. Looking forward to 2 years working with everybody here on the dais and with the community as a whole.
Thank you. So that leaves me. So I want to wish everybody a very happy new year. I am beyond excited to be serving as your mayor for the next couple of years. I did want to say welcome to Dave. I'm going to say it wrong. Caspanella. Oh, Dave is fine. Thank you so much. And Jerome, as well as Justin, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be working with everyone. I did have the opportunity to attend the VML conference this past week. Tons of learnings, really enjoyed that. And I just really want to say thank you to the staff and thank you to everybody for the support. And I look forward to seeing everybody soon. All right. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
He beat me.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
There we go. Thank you. That part I've got down. That one I've got down.